Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Episode 9, The Hair Show. I'm Dom Lahane. Delighted to have you all here. It's great to see your comments coming in. New faces, brilliant. Get in the show, because this is your show, The Hairdressers Show. And it's so good to see so many familiar faces. Now, if you're new to the hair show, what the heck is this all about? Well, this is your now weekly live show dedicated to the world of hairdressing, and we bring you everything from how-tos to news to brekkie with Bell, you name it, we've got, as well as competition giveaways. So as I say, this is your show, and we want you really tonight to dictate so much of the conversation. So if there's things that you guys want to talk about and you want us to really get stuck into it, then get your comments. We're going to be flagging them comments up, and it's so great to see it. And if you see my eyes kind of moving over here and over there, it's because I got my screens going on. And just to let you know, we do have about a 20-second delay from you seeing what I'm now saying, and equally 20 seconds delay coming back. So if we're a bit delayed answering your questions, that's why. But great to see you there. We're going to start bringing in some of your comments. But let's get into what's coming up on tonight's show. So here we go. What's coming up tonight? Let's have a little peek. So coming up on the show tonight, we have, first up, Jordanna Cabela's hair news. The world of hair. This is where Jordanna picks out her things that are really catching her eye. Rock up and share, real popular part of the show. And we have got her back on the show, Cherie Thompson. She is smashing it on social media right now. She's got a beautiful updo to show you. Hairdressing horror stories. Yeah, this really is a horror story, and George is going to be revealing that to you all a little bit later on. Then I'm so excited to say that we've invited Ben Brown. Yes, Ben Brown, how-to, 2 parts to this tonight. It's going to show you a beautiful cut. Live conversations as we're going to discuss the week's happenings in hair. So again, if you've got things to talk about, get involved. Mindful Mondays. We've got Hayley, who's from the Resilient Hairdressers. She's going to be with Jordanna Cabela, going to give you some real great advice on well-being. Hairdressers Open Talk, we have Colette Osborne, who's been absolutely all over it over social. Brilliant, looking forward to it. And then we have Pro Care Foil 24/7 dispenser worth £239, and you can win that tonight. How cool is that? So stay tuned to this. This is your show, The Hairdressers Show. So I'm really excited for this. We had our biggest show last week, and you guys, by sharing it, liking it, loving it, tell everybody about it, and we are going to get all over Facebook tonight. We are going to shout loud and proud about the hair industry. Are you all with us? Great. Well, let's bring in, as without every week, it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have these two lovely ladies. So I'm delighted to welcome to the screen Jordanna Cabela and Georgia Bell. There they are. We are there. How are you both?
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Yep, good. Busy in the salon, Dom. I've got some plans from early.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead. I don't know what's happening there, but we'll come back. Let's, yeah, by the way, I love it. Let's bring you back. There we are. The power of internet and software. It can do stuff. Should we start that again? How are you both?
Good.
Yeah.
Again, let's go back on that. I think I know what the problem is. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just, because I think that world news may come back on again. So bear with us, everybody. It is part of the... Yeah, right, let's get rid of that. Yeah.
This can be one of my hairdressing horror stories next week, eh?
Look, hey, look, listeners, viewers, we don't claim that this is always going to be perfect, but there we go. Yeah, so how's things been, George? I mean, it'd be fair to say you've had a bit of a stinker this week. You're going to talk about a little bit more. I mean, when we say stinker, a shocker.
Yeah, it's been a tough week, but these things are sent to try us, aren't they? And I'm going to be speaking about it a little bit later on in Hairdressing Horror Stories. But all in all, it's been a busy week. Working late again. I'm sure every single hairdresser in the UK is working extended hours. I've worked the past, couple of Sundays, and yeah, it's been hard. But I am enjoying being back at work. So yeah, all in all, got to stay positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about for you, Jordanna?
The days, the hours, the weeks are flying by so quickly. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. I think there's a couple of hiccups along the way, but you know what? So far, so good.
Yeah, and again, I would ask you all, please come in with your experiences. And I'm looking down here. By the way, you keep seeing me look into this. I've got my new big screen in front of me here, which is probably causing half the problems tonight. It's probably throwing in a few different moments for me. But yeah, keep those comments coming in. Really excited by that. We're going to flag some of those up. Now, I gave you a taste of what's coming up, World Hair News. So shall we actually go to that, Jordanna? So we're going to head into World Hair News with Jordanna Cabela.
Girls, me and
Now
Jordanna.
for the World of Hair News, episode 9. The first news story today is about a hairdresser called Charlotte from London, who has uploaded a video this week following an allergic reaction that one of her clients, who was a COVID-19 survivor, had to colour. It really comes as a shock to our industry, as her client's patch test was within the 6-month period. Charlotte has now made it her mission to warn hairdressers to re-skin test, as positive COVID patients may have a disrupted immune system, making them more susceptible to reactions to PPD. She explains that her client had a severe reaction within minutes in the salon and had to call an ambulance. Charlotte's initial response proved she took excellent due diligence by washing the colour off straight away with cold water and calling an ambulance, who arrived on scene within minutes of the call. Charlotte, on behalf of Dom, Jordanna and myself from the Hair Show, we commend your efforts and professionalism in how you've handled the situation. Here's a message from Charlotte if you've missed it.
I'm a L'Oreal colour specialist and have been for a couple of years. I really know my stuff and I do things by the book. My client that come to me today has been coming to me for several years. She's had colour with me many times before, never had a problem at all. Always skin tested as she should have been, and her last colour with me was in February, so it fell within the 6-month bracket of needing to reskin test. She literally had a rash all across her chest and it was creeping up her neck to her face, and all of a sudden she just said, I said to her, are you feeling all right? She was like, I don't feel too good. I was like, right, quickly over to the backwash. Like within seconds I got that colour off of her head. Didn't even give the chance for the water to warm up. As I leant her back, she started to get really dizzy. She wasn't feeling right. We landed up having to call an ambulance up to the salon. Now, that particular client had suffered very badly with coronavirus. She'd been in and out of hospital. She'd had quite a bad reaction to COVID, and she was really suffering. She had really bad symptoms. I think coronavirus and the effects and the symptoms, bearing in mind 60% of people do not even know that they've had it, will be affecting our immune system somehow. And I'm sure that will land up compromising colours, not just for myself, but maybe up and down the country as well, or other people.
And that's all from Charlotte. Now, for news story number 2. Hairdresser Casey Coleman from Chair Salons in Wales, who is well known for his campaigns of patch test parties and potential to affect our allergies, and for the last 3 years has urges and efforts for COVID-19 are still unknown. Casey urges for all colour houses and brands to research and take the time to test for the potential side effects of COVID-19. On the first day of reopening, Casey's queue of patch test clients extended around the block of the High Street in Wales and featured on BBC News for his precautious efforts to patch test 200 clients in time for his reopening. News story number 3. Well-known textured product brand Mizani have just announced the launch of the Mizani Texpert Academy, a new digital platform for a one-stop professional education destination for all stylists who are looking to learn the building blocks and services for textured hair. So, whether you are a beginner or simply need a refresher course for your skills, head over to mizani.com for a certified course on textured hair. And that's all from me today.
Thank you there, Jordanna. Well, I can see what's caught everybody's attention in that news, and I know she's actually in here today because I'm seeing her comments. Charlotte, let's just bring Charlotte up. She's there. Hi, everyone. Wow, Charlotte. I mean, firstly, that video, Jordanna, I mean, the amount of views that's had, it really has gone global, but for good reasons, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And Charlotte, thank you so much for sharing your experience with everyone. It has really shocked the industry. It's made us, it's given me the wake up call as a business owner to really take skin testing even more seriously than I already do. You can really feel the emotion and the trauma that you had to go through, and well done on your efforts thinking on your feet like that. Because it clearly has made a huge difference to the clients.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking here again, George. I'm just pulling in comments. Let's bring this up. Joe Ferns. Hiya, Joe. The worst thing for a stylist and a client to experience. My heart goes out to her. Is this something that could really be an underlying problem? Is this something that manufacturers are going to have to look at?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But I mean, we don't know the sort of after effects of COVID. But I mean, I think any responsible business owner skin tests within every 6 months, which is what we do. And I think what happens is what really matters. I commend Charlotte for the way that she's handled this, and I commend her for putting it out on social media, because you don't want the after effects of clients thinking you've not done something properly. I think what matters is when something goes wrong, is actually the way that you respond to it. And I think her response and her story has been very commendable. So, you can't take that away from her. I think she's done everything right. And, she's not done anything wrong, because that client hasn't been tested with, not had that test within 6 months. So she's done everything right.
Yeah.
And I think it's very good for her to put it out, because it is a dangerous situation when something like that happens.
Absolutely. Niall's there. Hiya, Niall. Great to see you here, mate. He said the client was so lucky that she was with you. I mean, that situation could have been so much greater, Jordanna.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if I was in that kind of situation, I probably wouldn't have reacted so quickly. So well done for doing that. And it's a real lesson for us all to reconsider the impact that COVID-19, but also for brands, Casey's efforts to really shake up brands and colour houses, to actually put some time and research and money into the potential effects it has on their own immune and allergy systems for the body. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more light being shed on the issue from colour brands as well.
Yeah, big shout out. Kim's here, by the way. Sorry, George. I've just bring Kim's up. We've got big screens coming up on there tonight. But Kim, we have to remember that medications as well can add to this. Maybe we should skin test more regularly, as what Casey's really trying to do. And what are you like on the skin testing? How's that all been on you coming into back into the salon?
I'm part of Patch Test Party anyway, so I did the video with Casey, and in actual fact, the reaction, if you really wade through it and you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, a reaction can actually occur every 3 months, and that is why Casey makes a point of taking that patch test every 3 months, which I think is a really good point. But actually guidelines for hairdressers, it is 6 months, and I know I follow 6 months in some cases.
Yeah,
I follow 3, but it's a minefield.
Shouldn't we be just colour test everyone again? Just start afresh. I mean, really, if we're talking about this, it's got to be, hasn't it, Jordanna? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I did start to do that at the beginning of lockdown. Any client that was coming in for a cut, I was skin testing them then and there. But it does worry me that there are clients out there who probably won't be able to skin test within the 6 month period. And probably won't really understand that they have to come in again to get skin tested when we told them it's every 6 months. So it'll be interesting to see how we cope with that as businesses. Dan, our producer, has actually explained that there are skin testing companies out there. Can you remind us of the name for that, George?
Yeah, so it's Colour Star. And you can actually send it out. So like us guys, if you've got salons and people travel from afar to you for your colour work, it's a great company to use, because actually you don't have to make somebody come from London, or you don't have to make somebody Jordanna come from Manchester.
Great idea.
You can send the kit, and it's really helpful, and it's really great. But I do have to say this as well, guys. As a hairdresser, I really want you next in my chair in a minimum of 12 weeks. So I take your last appointment as your skin test.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
something to remember as well. Like, if you're coming to see me in 6 weeks' time, again, I don't have to re-skin test you.
Yeah, I'm just going to flag up a little bit, but our good friend Simon Townley, how are you, Simon? I believe Simon's out of hospital now, so great to see him back with Hair Socials, and we're all wishing you well, Simon, and looking forward to that podcast with you, sir. It's going to be great. So, look, keep them comments coming in. We're going to keep coming back to these conversations if there's anything there. Also, I see a good friend of ours. There's Richard McCabe. How you doing, buddy? Good day. Yeah, so we're going to move in now to how to, and this is really special for us to bring on really good leading hairdressers who are going to educate, and that's what how to is. And we actually kind of now break them down into two parts, and this, we really are honoured to have a guy from Me Girls that I think he has really become one of our leading haircutters now in educating it, and he's done it so brilliantly. So we're going to have the first part to this. Honestly, you are going to love this. We've got a how to with Ben Brown, so enjoy.
Hello and welcome to this BB Education cooking tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to be taking you through one of the classic 9 sassoon haircuts, the round graduation. We've started with working high on the crown, working towards the recession of the hairline. Our section that is high on the crown is in a delta section. So this is our first section. We would start pulling the hair down and cutting the section low. So our section 2 is going to be a parallel diagonal back section. Take section 3 in the same way. Now we're going to start to take our sections on a much lower diagonal. So our first section is all about building length. We're working on a zone, the front and the apex, which is less hair than the crown. As we go back, we start to form our length. But when we get to here, if we continued in this fashion, you'd be building a shape that almost had a tail at the back, a much longer shape. So what we do to combat this is, as we come down and we cut this section here, we pull the sections back. Let's just discuss the elevation. Remember, elevation is the control we have of moving the hair up and moving the hair down. So the lower we maintain the elevation, the heavier our line is going to be. So the more you lift it, the higher we lift it, the more softer and feathered the outline will be, and the more layered the look's going to be. The lower, the more stationary and heavy. Okay, so just to have a little look at our shape, a little review, we have a little cross check, vertical, and we can see that we've got everything working as a flow.
Get in there, Ben Brown. My God, man, you are too good. He's watching in on here, and JB's looking in as well. Honestly, the masters these boys are. And we were just sat there, weren't we, George, saying, God, I love this video. Ben, you know, he's really put together a great video for Just a Hair Show.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the second part that's going to be featured in later on in the show, the finish. But yeah, he's a super talented guy. What can you say? You know, those lines that he creates in haircuts are just something else.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jordanna?
Oh, what I love is, number one, the music and the drama, but also the way Ben holds his scissors just looks so natural, you know, with the thumb kind of the other way round. And I just love it. And I think he moves so beautifully. It just makes it look so easy. But actually, when you're doing a haircut like that, especially when someone's filming you, it's not that easy at all.
Look at him. Yeah, I'm blushing. Ben, and so you should. But look, what I'd love to know, I mean, from Ben's story, really, how he, you know, he really is a major success of how somebody has really took social media, combined with a really fantastic talent. You know, he cuts hair so beautifully. He's in the camp there. You know, we've got JB watching in, who done our masters at work, and Niall. You know, great haircutters. And yeah, I think that's what I love about what Ben's done. And you know, I think he's been making it big in America again, which is not easy for English hairstylists to do, George. To make that jump over to America, be on Hairbrained.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like, he's done really well for himself. And you know, he's so open about his story, about his salon not working, and then look at what he's created as an educator, as a freelancer, and you know, that's something to be so proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he's the Eastern grip. That's what it's called. And yeah, really good. So look, guys, if you know, with how-tos, if you are interested and you would like to do a how-to for the show, then yeah, please reach out. But we, you know, our team, we sit down, we all kind of say, well, I'd love to bring these people on. So that's kind of how it's working, is that we reach out. You know, maybe I'd like to see some, you know, more colour work. Avant-garde would be good, wouldn't it, Jordanna? Don't think we've seen any avant-garde yet as a how-to.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of braids and, you know, borderline sort of editorial looks, but it would be amazing to see some avant-garde that still has that kind of element of femininity. Because what's great about all these how-tos is that we can always take an element of that to salon life or to freelance life. So bring them in, guys.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in the comments there, Dan's just putting in the forms. It's that easy. Use the form, upload your video, whether it's Rock Up and Share, TikTok, whichever you want to do, get in. And even if we can't cover it to start with, you know, we've got our YouTube channel as well, which we're now really starting to push. So if you want to see the longer content of the videos, then go to the How to Cut It YouTube channel. We've got it all there. We're really loading up the library. But look, moving away from that, I just want to bring things back a little bit to your week, George. I mean, I think anybody that follows you on social media, I mean, you're smiling, George, but it's probably been the toughest week of your life, wouldn't you say, at the moment?
Yeah, it's been the hardest week of my life. I've never quite prepared myself for this. What's happened this week.
It has. You know, I think what we're going to do actually is George does do her weekly hairdressing horror stories, and it's, you know, a bit of laughter to it, but this one we kind of just a little bit different. She's actually going to just do this for you now. She's just going to talk kind of around her experiences, and I would love to get your thoughts on this. Is this something that your could experience and hear? So yeah, we normally have a bit of a smile when we say this, but a little bit more a bit more edge to this. So let's go into hairdressing horror stories with Georgia Bell.
Okay, guys, so this week's hairdressing horror story was so big we decided to keep the screen for myself. On Tuesday, one of my staff members went to hospital early hours in the morning, and on Wednesday morning I was woken up at 6:30 a.m. with a text from her to say she had tested positive for COVID-19. Immediately I had to shut my salon All of my staff had to go for testing at different test centres and stuff like that. And I tried to get in touch with my local environmental health and the World Health Organization. Eventually, I did get in touch with them, but it took a little bit of time. From 6:30 Wednesday morning, I began to contact every single person that had come through my door, from the postman to the clients. And I personally gave them a phone call and did my own track and trace. That was almost 180 people over a week, over the space of a week. And of course, not everybody answers. You leave voicemails, you have to get back to people. To actually contact every single person took me almost 3 days. I managed to get hold of the World Health Organization, and I could give them the names of the clients that the staff member that had fell ill had actually seen. But from that, I've had to present my case to environmental health. I've had to present my case to the World Health Organization, and I've had to present my case to the local council. I had to, because I'd done everything properly. I had to close down, and after 72 hours, I was able to get a deep cleaning company in to deep clean the salon, and I was able to reopen on Saturday. But as you can imagine, as a salon, this, after 3 months of being shut, has lost me 3 days of revenue. It's also frightened clients. So I've lost probably about 10 appointments in cut and colours because people are scared to come in. And also, it just costs everybody a lot of money and a lot of time. But we've done things properly, and we've done things safely. And I think it's just living proof that actually this can happen to anyone. And actually moving forward, I think it's going to happen to a lot of businesses, because this is a virus that we cannot see. So it doesn't matter whether your salon is spotless, you can pick this up anywhere. So this is why track and trace is so important, and this is why as a salon we have to stand together and do things properly and make sure it's regulated. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Dom and Jordanna.
George, you don't do things by halves, do you?
No, what a week.
I mean, this is thing, and I know Jazz Barnett, my good friend, Jazz, who's watching the show, and we were talking about this, that this was, the lockdown was almost the easy part, but it's now actually, everything is just so new, and, we're all having to deal with so many different things right now. I mean, this is going to be very real. Has anybody else experience this? Has somebody else, had something similar to George? I mean, Jordanna, what's your take on what's gone on this week for George?
It's everyone's, nightmare, isn't it? I think, George, you've dealt with it so well. I can't believe, it's happened to you so quickly. That, I do think you need a bit of a break here, but well done for handling it so well. You've gone full throttle. You've really, put people at ease. There are going to be clients who are frightened, but over time you won't lose them. They will come back, and I just think you're doing a great job. Your staff must feel like it's a very safe environment now that you acted so quickly, and I commend you for the way you dealt with it, because it's a hell of a lot better than I would have dealt with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring this up, sorry, George, because I think Emma's just put, I hope the stylist is okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a really good point there, Emma. How is the stylist? Yeah,
absolutely. So all my staff's health is like my main priority, and that's why we acted so quickly. And yes, she's okay. She's fine. And she's on the mend. But obviously you want to provide a great working space. You want to make people feel content and happy, and you want to make your clients feel safe as well. And if I'm perfectly honest, as a business owner, has it been completely well received from clients that I've phoned up and told personally? No, it hasn't. And I think that that's the reality. And as a business owner, you need to prepare yourself for that, because actually you're phoning people up to say potentially you've been in contact with COVID, and actually people are frightened. People are scared, and they're not always going to react well. Even though I've done the right thing, and I would never have changed doing that, because I always want to do the right thing. Has it been a bit of a kick in the teeth for me? A bit, yeah. But I don't blame people, because we're dealing with something that we've never had to deal with. This is the new normal.
Yeah, and Nicola's just put there about, I'm doing a track and trace in my salon. We all have to do that, don't we? We've got to do, make sure that you've got everybody's data and addresses and postcodes, phone numbers to go through all this. I mean, it's really here. Robert, hi Robert, nice to see you. Maybe put together a doc step by step how to deal with this situation. I mean, we're all going to be learning from this, and I think that's really key. Lee just down on this comment, what we got there. This situation is my biggest fear. I think there's already in Charlotte tonight, George, we've heard about the patch testing, the fear of that, and now the fear of what you're saying. What's been great though, where this is all very scary, but I want to hear the positives as well. We all been able to get back in. Jordanna, I mean, I don't want everybody to feel terrified about what we're doing. It's really key that we're positive and pushing forward.
Yeah, I mean, I've got quite a few clients who work for the NHS in varying different roles, and I've had time to catch up with them over the last 2 weeks of being open. And they have warned me that, the daily death count, which I know has stopped now, but it's so rare for the World Health Organization to release those daily death rates, and it has installed a lot of anxiety in people, because if you look at, for example, a neighbouring flu like the influenza virus, for example, we would be so scared as a nation if those public death figures were published on a daily basis. So we've got to put this into perspective. It is a virus that we can't see, but it's not the most deadliest of virus that we've seen in pandemics over the centuries. And we have acted so well against it, and the numbers are decreasing. The good thing is we don't have to close for 2 weeks. 3 days is enough if you act as fast as George. And the benefits are that we're all operating under much more hygienic standards than ever before. So we've got to see the pluses to it.
Fantastic. Right. Everybody, I want you to put in them comments some things that you're really loving of being back in the salon. Let's hear some of them experiences. It's great to see creativity going as well in hair, and no more dolly heads. We're seeing real heads back again, and I'm loving that. So come on, let's share some real great stuff that you're enjoying. What's been the best thing being back in the salon? I'd love to hear for that. But everything, we need a bit of calm, and this is a nice point of our show. We bring you Mindful Mondays every week, and this is a point where you just put your feet up, take a little bit of time out as we go forward in the show. So I'm just going to let Jordanna introduce our next part of the show, Mindful Mondays.
So this week's Mindful Mondays, an incredible guest is a lady called Hayley, also known as the Resilient Hairdresser. Now, I met Hayley on Instagram. I came across her account only maybe the latter half of the lockdown period. And she is an incredible woman with a very incredibly unique story. Without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Hayley, who's actually a trained psychologist and psychotherapist, who is also still a practicing hairdresser. So
I'm just going to say as well, we've got this in 2 parts as well, Jordanna. So we're going to do the first part, and then we're going to come back to a bit like Ben. So should we go into it?
Yeah, let's hear it from the first.
Well, I'll try and condense it a little bit because it's a little bit long and winding. But essentially, I've been in the hairdressing industry now for about 30 years. But around about 10 years in, 15 years in, I was burning out and feeling a little unhappy with the culture. And I was struggling in my own life with depression. So around that time, I was having therapy. So I was working full time, struggling, having therapy. And then I started to feel a little better. But what happened was I got interested in therapy beyond myself. So I started to get interested as a career. And obviously around this time, I wasn't really that happy as a hairdresser. So I decided to train as a therapist and leave hairdressing. So I had my exit strategy. So I'm probably about 35 at this point. I'm 45 now. So that's what I did. I trained and qualified as a therapist. That took 4 years part-time alongside working full-time as a hairdresser. And I quit. And that was it. I was out of hairdressing. I was done. And I worked as a therapist. And I loved it.
Wow.
And then after it, I just thought that was me done forever. And after a couple of years, once the novelty had worn off a little bit of having the new career and really settling into the realities of it, I felt a little lonely. And long story short, therapy didn't suit me as a full-time career. And around this time, I was offered a job in a salon, and I was always getting offered jobs in a salon because I'm a technician and we're like gold dust. So I said I would go and work for one day in a salon, and I thought the balance would be good. So I went back into hairdressing for a day. And the quick version is I found myself feeling happier on the hairdressing days because I like to be around people.
Right.
And what I noticed was the skills I learned as a therapist were really serving me well now in hairdressing. And so the things that I used to hate, feel very stressed about, burnout, things that used to weigh me down, I just noticed they didn't bother me the same. They were just rolling off me, or they weren't occurring in the first place. And I thought, oh, there's something here. You know, there's something here, and I'm gonna tell other hairdressers about this. I mean, that process was a little longer than that, but you know, I just thought there was a bit more thinking involved in that. But I basically decided that what I learned as a therapist and my sort of unique, weird skill set was valuable, and I decided to bring it back to the people that I love, which is hairdressers. You know.
Wow, amazing story.
And relax. Love that. I mean, actually, a really good point there that George just said, that, you know, from a hairdressing point of view, actually, so many of us are really great at dealing with people, aren't we? And, you know, how you can take the two is really good. Is that what you sort of took from that first part of the interview, Jordanna?
Yeah, but also, you know, Hayley really talked about her burnout stage. And that is why she chose to leave hairdressing, because she got to a stage where everything just got too much for her. I think the environment that she felt in the salon wasn't for her anymore. And then trained as a psychologist and then came back to it. So it just goes to show that, you know, when the passion is there, it will always be there. But sometimes we just need to change the environment around us or the people that are surrounding us in order to make it work for us. And I think everyone has a story that resonates with them about, you know, that time in life where you just think, is hairdressing for me? A lot of the time, 9 times out of 10, it is, but you may just need to take yourself out of the environment and find somewhere where you're a bit more suited.
Yeah, Robert's just put here, actually, psychology should be added to the hairdressing curriculum. I think that's a really good shout, and certainly puts that value on what we do. So we're going to come back to part 2 on that. There's some great comments coming in here. They're big. There's Dave Downer. Hiya, Dave. Good to see you, mate. You know, I like the appreciation of clients for keeping them safe and realising what we've done for them, plus waiting for us. Great compliment. Nicola, making clients look gorgeous, giving them huge smiles. This is what it's about, isn't it? It's been like a weight lifted for them. I mean, yeah, great, keep them. And we've got Lynn up here, loving the banter and the loose woman chatter about the salon. Clients embracing change so well. Yeah, other than them visors, and I don't want to get caught up on that, but I would like to know, are you wearing visors and masks, or are you just wearing a visor? Are you wearing a mask? Scotland, I think, is slightly different. There's a lot of confusion around that. I'm going to just put that question out there, and we'll come back to that because it's a big point. And George, maybe we'll come back to that with you when we come out of this. Now, we're going to go into Rock Up and Share, all right? This is the moment where we invite brilliant hairstylists to have, you know, under 3 minutes to come and showcase their look. We want them to share what they can do with hair. And she's been on the show. She's done a how-to recently. It's on YouTube, by the way. And she has been smashing it up on social media. I'm delighted to introduce our next Rock Up and Share for this week is the delightful Cherie Thompson. So here goes.
Hi guys, I'm Cherie from Siren Hair Art, and I just wanted to come on to the Rock Up and Share part of the hair show to show you a quick bridal hair demonstration, so I hope you enjoy it. thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my demonstration. Check out my Instagram, Siren Hair Art, and my YouTube channel, Siren Hair Art, for lots more information and inspiration. Thanks, guys.
Cherie, so mighty good. Look, Kelly, she says Cherie makes it look so easy. She really does. I mean, yeah, but that's somebody who's very, very good. Is she the new Patrick Cameron? I tell you, she is really carving out her reputation with long styling hair. You know, great stuff. Bungee tape, that's getting mentioned. You've mentioned it, George, as well. Bungee tape is fab. Pro styling.
Yeah. It's great. They use it in a lot of editorial work. It's basically no tension, you know, no bands, anything like that. And it's really great. I use it on my daughter's hair, actually, although I have to say my daughter's hair doesn't look anything like what Cherie's created right now.
I've heard your kids running around, so I'm surprised even if they sit still for a second for you to do their hair.
That's it. But we try our best.
Right, well, I'm going back up the comments because I asked you all, you know, are you using visors and masks? Well, I've got to say, looking at these comments, Jane, visor only, Charlotte, just a visor, Kellyanne, just a visor, Daryl, just a visor, clients wear the mask. Jordanna, are you just a visor?
So I've been wearing both because I do like to shampoo my own client's hair, only when I'm toning. So because of the proximity of me kind of leaning over them, I do wear both. And also I'm really short. So basically when people sit down, they're like my height. So I don't have the advantage of being tall enough to have distance. So that's why I wear both. But it is really, really suffocating. And I do need that 10-minute breather in between each client.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, what about you, George?
So we are just visors at the moment. We're finding it really hard with masks and visors. And until the government guideline comes in that it has to be both, then I think we are just going to stick with visors for now because they're quite difficult. Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to know what everyone else is doing and what they're doing and
certainly
to be
Scotland
safe
as well. Our Scottish hairdressers, Welsh, Irish. Is the guidelines different from you? Australia, Canada, wherever you're based, you know, get your comments in. I'm really keen to learn about that. So I'm just trying to keep up on all your comments. Great work, by the way, everyone. It's so good.
I'd love to know.
See
Dom, to interrupt you there.
Go
I'd
on.
love to know if you guys have got any stories of clients who may have had resistance to wearing the mask, because we had a handful actually. And when I spoke to Errol on the phone this week, he also had a client that he had to very politely tell her to find another salon because she just refused. She actually just said, "I don't believe in it. I just don't believe in it." So I'd love to hear what you guys, how are you guys dealing with that, because it is a bit awkward, and it takes you off guard, and you think like, how do I approach this? I mean, the most polite thing to say is, you know, you've got to wear it, otherwise you can't have the service done. But it is awkward because you know your clients on a friendship level. So. Ooh.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Just seen Andrew come in, the superstar. Hi, Andrew. You're late, but I know you're busy with a Weller. There's Sarah there as well. Lovely to see you guys join us for the show. So, big part of our weekly show, as you all get to know, is that we now have our weekly competitions. That we have some amazing giveaways, and many of you have been receiving your prizes that you've been winning each week, and very easy to enter. Forms, and we do a bundle prize. Well, I'm going to hand over to I believe Jordanna's going to do this one, and so I'm going to hand the screen over to you, Jordanna. Here you go.
So this week's very, very lucky winner has in store for them an entire year's subscription, free subscription to the hairdressing education online giant Hairdressing Live, which is run by Paul Davey. So this week's winner is our very own Daryl Starkey-Gittins. Daryl, well done. And over to Georgia, who is going to announce one lucky winner prize for next week.
Okay, cool. So this week we have the amazing prize from Pro Care Foil, and we have got a 24/7 foil machine to give to you guys worth almost £300. Now, the great thing about this is actually it prints your own foils. Every single stylist can just get your foil, whatever length, whatever size, at the click of a button. And they're also providing separate trays for your foils. So it helps prevent cross-contamination post-COVID. You know, I've got one in my salon. I use it all the time. All my staff rave about it. It's an amazing product. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a little video of this week's prize.
There we go. What a prize! That looks, and it is so relevant, isn't it now, for the, you know, that 24/7, that whole machine, isn't it? Have you got that yourself? You guys got those in your salon? You're both nodding.
Yeah, they're amazing. They just save so much time.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, it is actually in terms of safety now. If we're being extra cautious, extra careful, it is a great piece of kit to have in your salon for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So to enter the competition, guys, it is that easy. All you need to do, Dan, our amazing producer, the man behind the scenes, we are going to bring him on the screen one day, I'll tell you that. He's not going to sit there all the time doing that. He's putting the links in, so all the links that you need to enter the competitions, upload video files, they are all there. So get those in. Lots of love for going out for Daryl there. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to come in. I'm just going to pick up. It's hard. I've got to pick this up because you were just speaking about this. One of your clients, Dawn. Let's bring that message. Come on. Up you come. You coming up? It's a big message. Sorry, it's taken over the screen. It's hard. I support people with autism who are exempt from wearing masks, but actually that puts hair salons in a really awkward positions. What's your take on that, George?
No, there is certain things like that. I mean, we do an autism day within our salon, and I knew full well that, you know, children, we do children on the spectrum. They're not going to wear a mask, but my stylists are fully kitted up, so I do get that. But I think if you are dealing with situations like that, you know, there needs to be a certain, if the salon's prepared to do it, I think there needs to be a certain time and a certain day that you do it on to maybe minimalise everyone else's fear. You know, I've got one member of staff that suffers severely with asthma. He doesn't have to wear a mask either. He's exempt, but he is doing. So there's a lot of it's a minefield. I've studied this all week, and it's an absolute bloody minefield, honestly. You know,
everything is a minefield right now. So look, guys, keep the comments coming in. I'm trying to keep up with them all, and yeah, we'll keep flagging them up. Great to see. So we're going to go into our next part of the show. Quite regularly now we bring onto the show, we call it Hot Talks. It's Hairdressers Open Talks, and this is where we again invite key speakers to talk on a subject that we all really need to really discuss, and it's all about igniting ideas, igniting conversations. So listen to this lady who's going to be presenting this has been absolutely immense during lockdown. Her fight and crusade for the hairdressing industry has been brilliant, and her information. So it gives me great pleasure to invite onto Hairdressers Open Talk Colette Osborne. Here goes.
Hello Dom, thank you for inviting me onto Open Talk. My name's Colette Osborne. I'm the owner of Hair and Salon Group in Nottingham and the founding member of Saloners United. My professional background is in accountancy and business consultancy, and I retrained at 40 to be a hairdresser because I always wanted to. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about regulation, and I want to talk about some of the things that people say to me or what I've heard, you know, throughout my 10 years in our beautiful industry now. And I hear a lot about, not being able to charge what you're worth, having to compete with people that haven't done the same qualifications, rogue practices going on, like they have been going through COVID, with people working who shouldn't be during lockdown. So one thing's been proven by this crisis is that this is long overdue, because had we had this before, we probably wouldn't have half the issues we have now. So what do I believe regulation brings? Like any other sector, regulation brings, almost like a Michelin star. It's like having a Michelin star for your salon to say, we work to this standard, we're all competently trained, the public can trust us, okay? We have ownership, okay? And with ownership comes a lot of things. We take ownership and responsibility for our business and our industry. So it's almost like we're going to take ownership of this and actually say to government, look, we're not going to wait for you to tell us what to do. We're not going to wait for you to tell us how we're going to manage our businesses coming out of something like this. We're going to tell you how we're going to manage it. Okay, so we're going to tick that box for government and actually take it away. So that will give quite a few things. So an affiliated body that actually works, by giving that Michelin star, if you like. And that's the only way I can actually explain it. Now, Joe Mills actually talked a bit about this on his open talk. Joe was spot on. Joe's got a lot of experience in this industry. And he's highly respected, and he's been a massive help to me too. So, I think it's long overdue. I think we need to do it. And I think anybody who doesn't aspire to do that is probably because they're not working at a high enough standard. So what happens next? So I'd like to get this sorted. I've frankly had enough of waiting for it, okay? And it's quite obvious nobody else is going to do it. So I'm going to ask one thing of everybody, because I need to take the temperature of the industry and see if it's actually really, really, really something that everybody wants. So I'm going to put a survey out. I'm going to ask you to complete it, because now I've got the ear of certain members in government. I'd like to give them some stats and some information that they require to tick the boxes they need, because quite frankly, that's all they'll listen to, okay? Then we can get everything else we need. I'm talking VAT reductions, support for our industry, support for if we lock down again. So if you truly believe in our industry, then get behind it and watch this space. Take care. Love you all.
Colette Osborne, thank you so much. She is on a mission, that lady. I tell you, if somebody's going to fight our corner, that's the girl, isn't it? What did you think of that, George? What Colette had to share?
Yeah, Colette has worked tirelessly throughout lockdown, hasn't she, to, really bring some points up. And what she's saying there is right. There should be regulation, and, it shouldn't be allowed. There's been so many barbers, so many hairdressers working throughout lockdown. And, we don't just train ourselves to get better for no reason. And it should be like a little bit of a Michelin star badge, actually. And we do earn the right to charge more and to provide our clients with the best service and the best safety. So, yeah, I completely agree with that point that she's making there.
A lot of people are coming in with the Good Salon Guide, Jordanna, where you get a rating. But I know Joe talked about this, do we need this one voice who's going to do this, and how do we do it? And, I'm really with Colette, but so many have tried to do this but don't seem to make it happen.
Well, I've got a confession to make that I cancelled my Good Salon Guide membership because it's an annual fee that you have to pay, and it was just another expense for us. And every year or so I look at the outgoings and the incomings, and you just have to make tough calls like that. So unless there is an organisation that is going to be mutually beneficial and recognised by not only the industry but also clients, I don't know if at this time businesses will be able to part with an annual membership, another subscription to something.
Yeah. Now, come on, guys. What do you all think? Are you with Colette? Can we make this happen? Now, I actually sat down, Jordanna, during lockdown with Jez Barnett, Joe Mills, Michelle Thompson, Sean Dawson, and we had this conversation, and it was really about, can we bring everybody together? The NHF, BF, the Hair Council. Can we all sit around the same table and work as one voice? Do you think that's possible, George?
I would like to think so. I mean, there's so many organisations as well, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But where do you go? Where do you spend your money as a small independent salon? We actually haven't. A lot of us haven't got the luxury of being able to do 10 monthly subscriptions. So maybe there needs to be something coming together that actually everybody signs up to, that gives us that power and gives us that legislation that's something that everyone agrees on. Because it's another added expense, and I'm not saying it's not important, because I believe it is. But if you're coming into the industry or you're not sure who you want to represent your salon, it could be hard, it can be difficult to make that decision, can't it, Jordanna?
Yeah, absolutely. And as a business owner, I will confess that I won't make that decision until maybe the majority of the industry has, and other business owners are doing it, because I wouldn't be able to make the first leap, particularly in this financial situation that we've all been left in. So I do think it's definitely, there's a gap in the market for it. But until that organisation is probably established and I can see that I would benefit from it tremendously, then I probably won't be joining, if that makes sense.
My feeling is, honestly, I just feel it's all too divided. Has everybody got their interests and memberships? The fees that keep these organisations going, are they really doing it for us as hairdressers, salon owners? Because I get that ratings, brilliant, let's raise the bar, let's raise our prices, because if we get our prices up, our industry improves hugely. We attract quality staff that we can pay quality, but it's just so divided, and it's a real mission. But anything is possible, so maybe reach out to Colette, get behind what she's doing. So thank you so much, Colette, I think, for coming on, and keep them comments coming in, everybody. If somebody's got a topic that you would like to bring to the hair show, something that you're really passionate about, then get in touch, use the forms. It's as simple as. So we're going to head back in now to the second part of that beautiful haircut that Ben Brown was doing. We only saw the first part, where if you want to see the finished part, it's coming up now. So we're going over to our next part 2, how to, with Ben Brown. Here goes.
And there we're able to connect in the central profile into our side section. And there we can see our sides connect. We're now going to start the top. So once we've completed these sections underneath, we're moving to our top zones. So we take the section on this diagonal back like we did at the start, because it's going to give us full control. The next sections are all lifted in the same manner we did the previous. When we get to the final sections, we're going to release them even when the section's a little too thick. The reason we're going to do this is because now we want to choose our end length at the front. Our wet donut shape is now completed and ready for its blow dry. Also, when you're doing lots and lots of these little triangles like we are here, it also helps to flatten and collapse the line. We really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial to all the How to Cut It community. Big thank you to Dom for having me on the Hair Show Show. Really hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, follow us on Instagram or YouTube. We'll put the links below. Thank you.
Oh, I'm on my own here. Hang on, I'll bring you ladies in. 1 second. We'll swap you all around, but there we go. Round of applause. Come on, let's hear it. Love hearts and all. Ben, Ben, Ben. Weren't it brilliant? What a fantastic shape. You won't know, ladies, but you are completely swapped positions around there. Jordanna, you're in the middle, and George, you've moved oversized, but we're all in the same place still. So good. That shape that Ben created, George, was just delightful, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just lost in that haircut there, to be honest. Watching it on my phone, I was like scared it was going to come back to the hair show and I'd be like, oh. No, it's really beautiful. But like I said, you know, the lines that he creates, the haircuts that he does are, you know, they're amazing. You can't take that away from the guy at all.
No, it's so good. I don't know what's going on with this screen tonight. It's playing a few little gremlins at us there, so we're all sort of back. Yeah, it really was good, and I think for Ben to do that, and I think the music was so dramatic to it, and that really brought that in. So let's just bring in any courts again. You lot, Andrew banging, Andrea, lovely shape, Angela Thompson, love it. Yeah, we all loved it. So precise, Nicola says. I think that's kind of what you said. And what did you say, Jordanna? You said proper hair porn.
That was in the green room, Don. We're not supposed to share that.
It is hair porn. Yeah, that's what we kind of say, though, isn't it? You know, that's.
It's so satisfying to watch him create the shape, but also seeing it on blonde hair, where you can actually see the weight line when it's wet as he cuts it. It's just mesmerising, and I wish my hands could move that quickly. You know how he sped it up. Just looks really, really nice, and I love precision cutting because it's not something we're doing a lot of at the moment in the salon, so it's really nice to kind of keep in tune with that. Yeah. And what I like about Ben's work and Ben's Instagram is that a lot of it is on everyday clients.
Yeah, Lee's just put in here, I want that music, and I was saying that music was so dramatic. I don't know if that came from Dan or if that was provided by Ben. I know sometimes we add the music to it. Well, Dan adds the music to it, so maybe Dan could just answer on that. Nicola, I was going to say hair porn, so thank you, Nicola, you helped me out on that one there. I got my hand smacked by Jordanna being yeah. So okay, let's move on. So we had our first part of the Mindful Mondays, and we're going to go into that again, Jordanna. So what can we expect into this next part?
We are. So with Hayley, as we got chatting, we soon realised, you know, as hairdressers, how natural it is for us to hear Hayley's story, and funnily enough, a lot of you had commented already, and actually try and add value. We're obsessed as hairdressers about adding value and adding extras on top of what we already do. And funnily enough, Hayley is campaigning to for hairdressers to just focus on hair, because we don't need to add more to the skill set. We already give so much, and we can't be expected to be counsellors. So before I go into it, here is the rest of Mindful Mondays with Hayley, the resilient hairdresser. there's a lot of hairdressers who have left the industry for very similar reasons to which you've described, which is burnout, overwhelm, perhaps it's not the vibe, perhaps it's the culture, like you said. What advice do you give to people who have reached that moment in their life or career?
Get some help, you know, get resourced, because I think what's common in hairdressing, I noticed, and I certainly felt, was I had no options. The industry wasn't going to change, so my only option was to leave. You know, when you've been to a few different salons and you don't feel any different, hairdressers seem to commonly get to a place of, well, I'll have to quit. And I think that, and then what are we going to do? You know, we're trained for nothing else. You're in your 30s, 40s, and you're thinking about a new career. This is very stressful. So I think that you've got to start focusing on looking after yourself within the culture that we have, raising the culture up, which is what I want to do a little bit, you know, and focus on your self-care and your boundaries and what you are willing to tolerate, and look at different ways to work, you know. So maybe you just need to be self-employed, you know, and be a little bit more in charge of yourself. But I think there's a lot of options.
It's interesting that, like, you know, we always read it in articles, we talk about it as an industry, that hairdressers are seen to be like free therapists, if you like, because clients may bring problems to you. You're seen as the kind of third party outsider to the situation. You're outside their social group, outside the family circle. So you're almost like the sounding board for people. But we've never really connected the dots, and no one's ever really trained in both. So how different was that for you once you did have that qualification and you returned back into hair? How did that influence the way you work?
Well, actually, it made me be a little less inviting of deep conversations and becoming the sounding board and like the free therapist, because, you know, hairdressing's hard as it is. You know, you're thinking, you're chatting, you're keeping your eye on your juniors, you know, you're spinning all the plates, and then to deal with other people, you know, for people to be offloading on you on top of that, I think that's really hard. So actually, what it made me do was focus on how that was affecting me, and I didn't invite those deep conversations quite the same, because I wasn't looking for that I wasn't looking for that from hairdressing anymore. I was looking just to sort of have a nice time, create a nice atmosphere. So I'm more likely now to keep the conversation light. Whereas when I was a little bored with my job, I was more interested in deeper conversations with clients to sort of stimulate me. But what I realised was that contributed to the burnout.
Right.
Because it's too much to do, you know. So actually what I do now is I protect myself a lot. And obviously if a client is in real distress, you know, and they disclose something, as people do occasionally, I will attend to that. But I don't make myself available as somewhere people get to come and dump. I'm sort of quite good at,
I suppose,
I'm just good at reining that back in and diverting the conversations and keeping them light. But I do that for two reasons. Number one, to protect myself. But number two, clients come for a good time, you know, and if they need a therapist, get a therapist. You know, but I think that hairdressing should be a nice experience with somewhere you come from a break from your problems, maybe.
That's really empowering to hear.
Well, thank you so much there, Jordanna, for doing that. Really enjoyed listening to it. And it can be really mentally draining, can't it? Well, I so agree when she was saying that you go so deep into your conversations and it takes so much of your energy as a hairdresser, George.
Yeah, no, you know what? I even found myself on the phone the other night with one of my clients talking about something, and it was away from work. And we do care, and, you know, it does become like a therapy session, but yeah, it can be. And, you know, when people offload any negative vibes or negative things that happen in your life, that can actually affect your entire day. And, you know, as business owners, I'm sure you'll agree, Jordanna, we have got to have eyes in the back of our head. Somebody could be saying something to me like the while I'm watching my assistant in the corner, as well as trying to put in 1,000 baby lights in someone's head. You know, so it can be very overwhelming. And we might not always do the best job because we've got 1,000 things to think about. So I completely agree. Make it a nicer, a cooler space that you can just come and relax. and perhaps not offload your issues.
And I think what Andrew has said there is so true. We are obsessed because we love our job. We're obsessed with giving more and equipping ourselves with different skills, and maybe, finding better conversations to have, or better ways to counsel our clients through their problems. But it is a recipe for burnout, as Andrew says, and sometimes burnout can lead us to make decisions to leave the industry, but it's not always actually the right path that we need to take. It could be that we just need to change the vibe, change the atmosphere, or take ourselves into a different situation, or just focus on hair because that's what we do best. And, I'm sure natural conversations can happen and that's fine, but let's not lump ourselves with even more burden or like more responsibility to take on our clients' problems.
Yeah, I've got to bring this up, by the way. Lee, I'm a therapist, partner, counsellor, sex therapist, on top of banging hair. Get in, Lee. Love that. That's quality. I think that about sums up a life of a hairdresser. I think we all know it. I mean, we cover every subject, eh, George?
And let's face it, we're not going to be asking anyone to go on holidays planned this year, are we?
Where was you going on holiday was more on point, isn't it? But look, I mean, it's been a fantastic show. We're coming towards the end, and thank you everybody who's joined. But we're not going to go yet because there is something really, really important that we want to share as a hair family, and certainly the How to Cut It community. And I think many of you will know of this lady, a special lady who's really come upon probably the hardest time that anybody could ever experience in their life, and I'm talking about Jane Wallace. Jane, it makes me feel quite emotional when she's got 3 children. She's going through a very difficult period of, she's facing, terminal cancer. There's nothing you can do. Really been hit upon something so dreadful, so hard. It puts all this coronavirus into the shade, to be quite honest, and everything we talk about. And she has 3 children, and she needs our help as an industry right now, right? And she isn't going to beat the cancer, but she wants to make sure that she's going to provide for her family. All right, and the best way that we can all help, and we've all got to do this, is to buy into her online course. All right, I think it's balayage. All right, and I ask each and every one of you that you go and do this, because seriously, she's a part of our community as well, and well. So, George, you've been on this course, haven't you, with Jane, I believe?
We're very emotional. So in lockdown, Jane announced that she was with cancer, and I immediately bought a course. And it is an absolutely fantastic online course that you can buy. It's £100, and it's 3 hours of everything that she knows. And she is such an amazing hairdresser. And I would just I would always support her because she's a wonderful woman, and she's actually, what you're getting is absolutely quality in terms of balayage as well. So, definitely support Jane. I'm sure that we're going to put the links into how we can buy that course. But yeah, it's £100. It's 3 hours of everything she knows. It's so informative. And yeah, we want to help and support Jane and her family right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Jordanna?
Yeah, I think, Jane, thank you for sharing your experiences, because I'm sure there are many people who can resonate with your story. It's a horrible disease that affects far too many people, but she's focused her efforts on who she's leaving behind, and I really commend you for that. So for that, I will be buying into your course. So thank you so much, and we wish you all the best.
Please, 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 everybody, share it. Go and just do that. Honestly, it really, and for her family, I mean, it's devastating to hear it, and I know we will. So, Jane, we wish you all the very best, and honestly, we're all with you every part of the way, and if we can help as an industry, we certainly would. And you are dead right, Andrew, the bravest lady, and she really is. So all the best. So look, there we go. The show has been an immense, I know we had a couple of blips along the way, but that's part of our live show, and we learn. I hope that everybody is enjoying this, and certainly having you, George, and Jordanna here, it's been so good. So yeah, we're going to sort of sign out with you two ladies now, and I'll hand it over to you firstly, Jordanna.
Right, guys, thank you so much. I really enjoy and look forward to the show every Monday. This week's been incredible, viewers, so thanks so much for signing in. Just one last note. If you guys want to book Hayley, the Resilient Hairdresser, head over to her Instagram page, which is at the Resilient Hairdresser, and you'll find that she has workshops that she can do with you and your team about how to mentally cope with life in the fast-paced environment as hairdressers. So thanks so much, guys. We'll tune in next week. Hope you have a lovely week. Peace and love for all of you. Mwah.
Bye, Jordanna. So what about yourself, George? Let's hand it to you.
Yeah, just want to say a massive thank you, guys. I've loved seeing you. You know, you guys make the show. All your suggestions really matter. Keep the love hearts, the likes, and the shares coming. I'm definitely, after the week that I've just had, going to be booking Hayley. And I also just want to say all my love to Jane. I'm thinking of you and your family. Thank you for having me on the hair show this week.
Lovely to see you, George. All right, we'll see you next Monday. I hope your week's a lot better, okay? So there we have it, guys. Wow, it's been a full-on show tonight. Thank you, each and every one of you. You are so valued and appreciated. It's so wonderful to host these shows and to see you joining in, being part of the conversations. And I've just seen a comment there from Andrew again. He's getting in the comments tonight, so I keep flagging up Andrew. I got that Skype sorted. Andrew, we're going to get onto that. We're going to organise that interview. I think we're going to do that live as well. So it's been great, and I want to say thank you to Ben for his amazing video. Go and check out more of Ben, Colette, Cherie. Just fantastic. It's been so good. Now if you want to hear Ben's podcast, I made a note of that. I've done an interview with Ben, episode 79 of the How to Cut It podcast. I've also, this week, I'm just going to give it a flagger. Let me bring that up. So my latest podcast, I've got Kai Wan, and Kai's on, and you're not just a hairdresser. This is really cool, this podcast, because we talk about, you know, have we lost sight of actually just being a hairdresser on the salon floor, and you know how we should really value that. I think we've become so keen on being educators and superstars that we're actually just got to understand that, you know, we should really just enjoy being a hairdresser. Go and check that out, howtocut.it/EP160. So that is it for this week, and we'll be back again next Monday. We just all over it. If you've got suggestions, want to get in touch, all the forms are there. And if you want to go and check out some of the longer form videos, the educational videos, Dan is uploading them to YouTube channel, How to Cut It. Go and search that out. Go and have a look at all the videos that we've got there. Find us on Instagram, like our page, How to Cut It. And just keep telling everybody about the hair show, because this is going to be here forevermore going forward, and you will be part of that journey. So as always, we're going to finish off on some TikTok videos. I'm going to flag up some of your comments. So until next Monday, everybody, peace, love and smiles all the way. Goodbye.